This week, Russia dramatically stepped up its aerial assault on Ukraine, launching more than 700 drones on Wednesday alone. Ukraine is fighting back with its own strikes, and Russia says it shot down more than 150 drones last night. President Trump, meanwhile, says he is not happy with Russian President Putin and promised to send more U.S. weapons to Ukraine. Our senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett joins me now from the Pentagon. And Charlie, Trump is teasing there may be an announcement on Monday regarding Russia. What do we know about this?
Well, Maurice, it's been described as a major announcement. About what isn't clear. It might be officially announcing the proposal that would see NATO partners supplying Ukraine with American weapons. NATO would then be paying for those weapons as a sort of backfill. So it avoids the U.S. from directly supplying Ukraine with weapons. It also comes on a day that his main envoy to Ukraine, retired General Keith Kellogg, arrives in Kyiv for talks. At the same time, and maybe hand in hand, it might be an announcement on serious sanctions against Russia. We know that he's considering a draft of a bill that would see a 500% tariff on any country currently buying Russian oil and gas. He said he's considering it and that he's running out of patience, using stronger words than that, with President Putin.
Yeah, he really seemed to change his tone on Putin this week. Kind of interesting to note there. What about these weapons? What kind of weapons are we talking about? And how important are they to Ukraine?
More than anything, Ukrainians need air defenses, and now more than ever, you talked about that bombardment. I mean, the Russians have been pummeling Ukrainian cities at levels and a ferocity not seen before in this war, and that says a lot. They know Ukraine is running out of those defenses, particularly those Patriot defense systems, which are able to intercept Russia's larger, faster ballistic missiles. Secretary of State, also acting national security advisor, Marco Rubio, suggested countries like Germany and Spain, just to mention two, have those Patriot systems and could provide those with Ukraine, and again backfill them with American systems and artillery. They can't get enough artillery. We learned a couple of days ago that after a short pause, the United States has resumed that flow of artillery to Ukraine.
Just a few more seconds here, Charlie. Any new developments in the negotiations with Russia that kind of fell off the radar there for a while?
Yeah, they have. Not much. Perhaps one glimmer of hope. Secretary of State Rubio, once again, he met with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov yesterday in Malaysia. He said the two men discussed new ideas, what he called a new approach that he wouldn't characterize as a guarantee of peace, but something he could bring back to the president.
Okay. Charlie Daggett at the Pentagon. Thanks so much, Charlie.